If you have time to explain it, you've got time to execute it. Let me tell you something straight off the top. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't owe you comfort. It doesn't owe you applause. And if you're waiting for the world to give you permission to be great, you're going to be waiting a long time. See, there's a reason the greats don't walk around explaining themselves to everybody. There's a reason they're not always whining about how hard it is. Because they know something most people never figure out. Complaining doesn't change your circumstances. Action does. Discipline does. Quiet, focused execution does. We live in a time where everybody's quick to speak, but slow to move. Everybody's got a reason why they can't, why it's unfair, why somebody else has it easier. But let me ask you something. When has complaining ever built anything? When has whining ever taken you one step closer to your dream? It doesn't. Because while you're complaining, somebody else is grinding. While you're explaining why it's hard, somebody else is finding a way through. You want to be respected? Stop talking and start showing. Start executing. You want to be successful? Then stop telling the world what you're going to do and just do it. Let them feel your presence before they hear your voice. Because I promise you, if you really want to make an impact, you don't need to explain it. You just need to become undeniable. This isn't about silence. This is about strength. This is about the power of quiet confidence. Because when you stop complaining, you stop giving energy to the problem. And when you stop explaining, you stop asking for permission to exist. You stop begging people to understand your path. And instead, you walk it with power. Never complain. That's the mindset of a champion. That's the mindset of someone who's not looking for sympathy, but looking for solutions. Because life will throw dirt on you. It will try to bury you under pressure, under disappointment, under failure. But if you're too busy complaining about the dirt, you'll forget you're a seed. You'll forget that pressure creates diamonds. You'll forget that storms make trees grow stronger roots. And never explain. That's the mindset of a leader. Because when you explain yourself to everybody, you're giving them the power to define you. And you don't need to defend your purpose. You don't need to justify your grind. Your path is yours. Your process is yours. Your vision is yours. And the people who truly believe in you won't need an explanation. They'll see it in your consistency, in your growth, in your rise. See, when you adopt this mindset, when you stop complaining and stop explaining, something powerful happens. You start moving different. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? You stop needing to be understood and start demanding to be respected. You stop reacting and start responding with purpose. And you do it with humility. You do it with grace. But most importantly, you do it. No delays, no distractions, just action, just progress, just momentum. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't respond to your pain. It responds to your performance. So stop telling them. Show them. Show them what you're made of. Show them what happens when someone decides they're done talking and ready to transform. Show them what commitment looks like. Not once, not for a week. Every single day, you've got one life, one shot, one opportunity to step up and own it. And the minute you decide that complaining and explaining are no longer part of your vocabulary, that's the minute you take your power back. That's the minute you stop looking sideways and start moving forward. This is your time. This is your season. But it will not wait for you. Life is not slowing down so you can feel ready. The world is not going to pause and ask if you're okay. It keeps spinning. And either you run with it or you get left behind. So what are you going to do? Sit there and talk about it? Or stand up and walk into it? Because the ones who win, the ones who rise, the ones who build legacies, they don't need applause. They don't need understanding. They don't need permission. They just do it. You know what separates the people who talk about it from the people who become it? One thing: execution. Not intention, not inspiration, not motivation, execution. Day in and day out, whether the mood shows up or not, whether the applause is there or not, whether the crowd understands or stays silent, you move, you build, you do. That's what the real ones do. That's what those who rise do. They've got blinders on, not because they're cold, but because they're focused. They don't have time to debate with doubters. They don't waste breath defending their process to people who've never built anything themselves. They've got dreams to chase, purpose to fulfill, time to respect. Because let me tell you something, the clock doesn't care about your excuses. It's ticking. And the only question is, what are you doing with the time you've been given? Are you investing it, or are you draining it? Are you building something real, or are you waiting for life to hand it to you? You want freedom? Start earning it. You want peace? Start choosing it. You want success? Start showing up for it. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's messy, even when nobody claps. Especially then. The world loves to celebrate the outcome, but the outcome is born in the dark. It's born in the grind nobody sees, the sacrifices nobody talks about, the discipline nobody claps for. And that's why you can't afford to complain. You can't afford to spend your breath explaining your every move. Because that breath, that energy, it belongs to the work. It belongs to the vision. It belongs to the calling on your life. And every second you spend trying to convince someone of your worth, you're abandoning the mission. Every second you spend crying over their misunderstanding is a second you could be rising above it. You're not here to be understood by the crowd. You're here to be aligned with your Creator. You're not here to please the masses. You're here to fulfill your assignment. And sometimes that means being quiet. Sometimes that means letting your silence be your loudest move. Never complain, never explain, just do it. Just rise, just build, just become. They won't see the nights you cried. They won't feel the weight you carried in private. They won't know the fear you had to fight every morning just to keep moving. But that's okay. That's not their job. Your job is to keep going. Your job is to master the craft. Your job is to honor the gift. Your job is to plant the seed and trust the growth. You don't owe anyone a play-by-play. You don't need to make announcements every time you change directions. Your vision doesn't need validation. It needs execution. And that's why you keep your head down. That's why you protect your energy. That's why you move like a warrior, calm, focused, relentless. Because you've seen what happens when you try to please everybody. You lose yourself, you dilute your mission, you waste your time. But when you stop caring about what they think, when you stop explaining your every move, when you stop complaining about how hard it is, something shifts. You gain power, you gain peace, you gain momentum. Because now you're not controlled by their opinions. Now you're not waiting for perfect conditions. Now you're dangerous, not because you're loud, but because you're consistent. And nothing is more dangerous than a consistent human being on fire with purpose. You want to be feared? Be focused. You want to be respected? Be disciplined. You want to be unforgettable? Be unshakable. And all of that starts the moment you decide, I'm done explaining. I'm done complaining. I'm done waiting. I'm ready to move. So do it. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because the clock's not slowing down. The world's not pausing for your fear. Life is moving. And either you keep up or you get left behind with the rest of the could-haves and should-haves. And let me tell you something. Regret weighs more than discipline. Regret stays longer than fear. Regret doesn't ask if you were tired. It just asks why you didn't do it when you had the chance. So I'll ask you again, what are you going to do? You going to talk about the pain or build through it? You going to explain why you're behind or catch up in silence? You going to complain about your environment or create your own lane? Because the choice is always yours. And if you're really about it, if you really want it, then shut the door. Turn off the noise. Get to work. Never complain, never explain. Just do it. Let me break it down for you. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't understand your purpose, you water it down. You give them room to question it, judge it, reduce it. But your dream doesn't need their comprehension. It needs your commitment. That's it. You weren't called to be palatable. You were called to be powerful. People will misunderstand you. That's a given. They'll question your grind. They'll misread your silence. They'll mistake your discipline for arrogance. Let them. You're not obligated to make sense to people who are still figuring out how to make peace with their own reflection. Let them guess. Let them talk. While they speculate, you build. You know why you can't waste time explaining your every move? Because every minute you spend defending your grind is a minute lost in building your greatness. You can't be in the arena and in the crowd at the same time. You're either out there bleeding for your dream, or you're up in the stands watching someone else live yours. And complaining? That's energy leakage. It's your power draining out of your mouth when it should be fueling your actions. Complaining is what people do when they've given their fear the microphone. But not you. You're different. You're built different. You've decided that your energy belongs to your effort, not your excuses. There's no glory in complaining. You don't get a trophy for who whines the loudest. You get left behind. You get stagnant. You get bitter while others get better. See, life doesn't reward the loudest victim. It rewards the quiet warrior. The one who shows up and does the work in silence. The one who stacks wins in private until the results make noise. The one who looks in the mirror and says, no more stories, no more blame, just responsibility, just growth. You've got to carry yourself like someone who refuses to lose, like someone who's done explaining, done apologizing, done compromising. You've got to move like someone who understands that action is the ultimate answer. Let your moves speak. Let your silence teach. Let your outcomes testify. Let the work be the sermon, because people will try to pull you into distraction, into petty arguments, into drama, into trying to defend your next move before you've even made it. Don't fall for that. You've got purpose to protect. You've got ground to cover. You've got a future that needs your full focus. You're not here to entertain the crowd. You're here to change the game. And game changers don't whine. They win. They don't beg for attention. They become too excellent to ignore. They don't explain their process. They prove it through their transformation. So the next time you feel tempted to post about your struggle, to rant about your haters, to explain why you're taking a different path, pause, take a breath, then get back to work. Because that next level you're chasing, it's not waiting for your explanation. It's waiting for your elevation. And elevation requires separation. Separation from the noise, from the need to be understood, from the distractions that demand your attention but don't deserve your time. That's why you move in silence. That's why you let your actions speak. That's why you rise while others rest. Train while others talk. Create while others criticize. Because you understand what they don't. Results are the only language the world respects. So what are you building? What are you creating with that pain you feel? With that doubt they tried to put in your spirit? With that voice in your head telling you it's too late, too hard, too far? I'll tell you what you're building. A legacy. You're building strength. You're building discipline. You're building credibility with the one person who matters most, yourself. And you don't need anyone's approval to do it. You just need consistency. You just need faith. You just need to stop waiting and start executing. This is your permission slip if you needed one. Stop explaining it, stop complaining it, just do it. Do it for the version of you who dreamed before the doubt. Do it for the vision that still keeps you up at night. Do it for the quiet voice inside that still believes in your comeback. Do it for the future that's waiting for you to show up and show out. But most of all, do it because you said you would. Because your word matters. Because your promise to yourself is sacred. And when the results come, when the fruit starts showing from all the seeds you planted in silence, let them wonder how you did it. Let them ask where you came from. And when they finally pay attention, don't even bother explaining. Just smile and keep doing it. You ever notice how the loudest people are rarely the ones doing the real work? They shout, they boast, they put on a show, but when it's time to deliver, they disappear. That's why real power moves in silence. Real confidence doesn't announce itself. It walks in the room and shifts the atmosphere. That's the level you're working toward. Not to be loud, not to be seen, but to be so deeply rooted in your purpose that your very presence says it all. You don't need to defend your goals to people who don't have any. You don't need to explain your discipline to people who live on excuses. You don't need to answer every critic. You need to answer the call on your life. That's it. That's the mission. And every time you get distracted by defending, you delay your destiny. It's time to tighten up your circle. Tighten your focus. Tighten your standards. Because where you're going, you can't take everyone. Some people can't go because they don't want to grow. They want the old you, the available you, the always saying yes version of you. But you're evolving now, and evolution requires separation. You don't owe your comfort to anyone. You don't owe your time to people who only remember you when they need something. You don't owe your attention to those who never supported your vision. What you owe is obedience to that voice inside. That voice that says, get up, go again, be better. That's the voice you answer to now. And listen, this life you want, it's going to demand sacrifice. It's going to stretch you. It's going to cost you relationships, comfort, sleep, validation, but it will give you something greater, purpose. That quiet, unshakable knowing that you're doing what you were built for. And that's worth more than applause, more than likes, more than understanding. So stop posting for sympathy. Stop waiting for approval. Stop looking for someone to tell you it's okay to rise. You've already got the green light. You've had it this whole time. But as long as you're explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand your assignment, you'll keep shrinking your power to fit their comfort. You want peace? Choose silence. You want respect? Move with discipline. You want results? Stay in the trenches. Stay in the work. Keep planting. Keep building. Keep moving. Because while the world is watching for the highlight, God is watching for the grind. That's where your greatness is built. Not in the performance, but in the process. And listen to me. This isn't about pretending life is easy. It's not. There will be pain. There will be rejection. There will be days you want to quit. But the difference between those who make it and those who don't, it ain't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the decision to keep going. So when the setbacks hit, when the doors close, when your heart breaks and your faith feels like it's hanging by a thread, don't complain. Don't explain. Just do. Do what's in front of you. Do what you said you would. Do the hard thing. Do the next right thing. Do the thing you've been putting off. And trust that as long as you move, something will shift. Because motion creates momentum. And momentum changes everything. Let them think you fell off while you fall into alignment. Let them count you out. While you count your blessings, let them doubt you while you dig deeper. Because the longer you're silent, the louder your comeback will be. And when it comes, when the fruit finally shows, when the door swings open, let your work be the only explanation they need. You don't need to scream, "I made it." Your peace will say it. Your presence will say it. Your results will say it. And by then, you'll be too busy living it to bother explaining it. See, this life, it doesn't reward noise, it rewards execution. The ones who win aren't the ones with the best excuses or the most tragic stories. They're the ones who did it anyway, who hurt but hustled, who feared but still followed through, who were misunderstood, overlooked, underpaid, and still didn't stop. That's you. You are not soft just because you feel pain. You are strong because you keep walking with it. And you don't need anyone to clap for that. You don't need the crowd to cheer. You don't need a post to go viral for your worth to be real. You've got something better than applause. You've got alignment. You've got integrity. You've got a future that will look back and thank you for not quitting when it was hard, for not shrinking when it was dark, for not complaining when it was lonely, for not explaining when it would have been easier to fold. Let the work speak. Let the transformation speak. Let the glow up be quiet, but undeniable. Because you're not here to prove anyone wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. Right about your vision, right about your discipline, right about your refusal to stay average, right about that gut feeling that said, you're made for more. And now you move like it. No more explaining your value. No more justifying your boundaries. No more apologizing for being focused, driven, unavailable for drama. You owe no one a play-by-play of your progress. You owe no one a breakdown of your pain. You owe no one your joy, your energy, your clarity. You owe yourself delivery. You said you would? Then deliver. You dreamed about it? Then deliver. You've cried for it? Then deliver. You've sacrificed for it? Then deliver. Let your results be the only story. Let your discipline be the only explanation. Let your consistency be the only argument. Every morning you wake up is a reminder that your work's not done. Every breath you take is a second chance to write a new ending. Every step forward is a decision that says, I don't need permission. I don't need validation. I just need to do it. So from this moment on, don't tell them, show them. Don't post about the grind. Live it. Don't beg to be seen. Become undeniable. And when they ask you how you did it, you smile and say nothing, because you know what they don't. That complaining never built anything. That explaining never made progress. That action is your superpower. And the only way forward, just do it. If you made it this far, drop 100 in the comments, so I know you're part of the 1% who's serious about growth.